One morning, when Gregor Samsa woke from troubled dreams, he found himself transforming his bed into a horrible vermin. This is, perhaps, one of the most well-known but also disturbing opening lines in the entire world literature. But here's a question we rarely ask ourselves. What if the real transformation wasn't Gregor's, but his family? Today, we're going to talk about The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, but not from the angle of supernatural horror. We're going to talk about something far more human and, precisely because of that, far more terrifying. Selfishness within our closest relationships.
Before turning into an insect, Gregor Samsa was the cornerstone of his household. He traveled constantly for work, paid off his father's debts, supported his mother, and funded his sister's great music lessons. He was, in short, a machine-producing well-being for everyone around him, and as such, he was valued, respected, even loved. But there lies the trap. Did they love him, or did they love what he provided? Kafka, with surgical precision, built Gregor as a man whose entire identity rested on his usefulness, not on his affection, not on his history, not on his presence, on his ability to answer one single question. What can you give us? When Gregor appears transformed into an insect, the first thing his manager, who comes to the house, worries about is not his health, it's his absence from work. And the first thing his family worries about isn't him either. It's the money that will no longer come. Kafka's Metamorphosis is not a supernatural horror story. It's a brutal social experiment. What happens when someone stops being useful? The father reacts with violence and disgust. The mother, paralyzed between love and revulsion, eventually surrenders to forgetfulness. And Gret, the sister, who initially cares for Gregor with a certain tenderness, ends up being the one who delivers the coldest sentence in the entire novel. We have to get rid of him. With those 5 words, Kafka shows us the exact limit of conditional love, the kind of love that has an expiration date tied to productivity.
But there's something crueler than outright rejection, and Kafka knows it perfectly. Gradual erasure. Gregor's family doesn't destroy him all at once. They erase him slowly. They stop talking to him, they stop looking at him. His room becomes a storage space where they throw everything they no longer want to see. And Gregor, from the other side of the door, keeps listening, keeps feeling, keeps being human on the inside, while everyone else decides to treat him as if he no longer is. This speaks directly to us. How many times have we done this ourselves? How many people have we slowly put away in storage once they stopped giving us something tangible, something that we wanted?
There's a phrase we've all heard at some point. Friends and family should be there for the good times and the bad times. The Metamorphosis is, at its core, the story of what happens when that promise goes unfulfilled. When the people who should be unconditionally present were only ever conditionally there. Gregor doesn't ask for great things. He doesn't ask for endless understanding. He only asks not to be discarded, and that his family is unable to give him. The novel invites us to examine what kind of bonds we build. Do we love people, or do we love what they give us? Will we stand by someone who can no longer fulfill their obligation?
Finally, Gregor Samsa dies alone, in silence, with no one truly mourning him, and his family, the very next day, goes out for a walk, relieved. Kafka doesn't give us a redemptive ending because he has no intention of comforting us. He wants us to feel unsettled. He wants us to look around and ask ourselves honestly, who truly values me and for what reason? Is it because of something that I give them? Because sometimes the greatest monster in the history isn't the insect behind the door. It's us standing on the other side.